Cool. So yeah, let's go here, and there we go. So today we're gonna have a fun one. I of course want to sculpt because I want to give it a go at this like new tablet, but yeah, we're gonna be doing something cool that I don't think we've done before, which is zoological drawing or not drawing, sculpting, zoological sculpting. And I'm thinking about something that I'm gonna need a little bit later, and we're gonna be doing an orangutan. So orangutans are pretty cool. Yeah, Becker Draw. This is like my artist's cave here in my house. It was a very well thought like discussion with my wife to know what we were gonna do with this whole place. She wanted it to be something completely different. I was like, no, I need my space for my stuff later on. Let's see. Blad666 says, have you seen Murder Drones? It's a 3D stunning indie animation on YouTube. No, I have not seen it, to be honest. I have not seen a lot of stuff. I'm still like haven't watched like Arcane Season 2. I watched the first one, of course, but I haven't had time. Probably this weekend I'll just watch everything. I think this weekend it's the final part, right? Like the final like 2 or 3 episodes. So I'm probably gonna be doing that during the weekend. But yeah, no, I haven't seen a lot of stuff. Dugongi says, I've procrastinated watching these streams forever. Let me finally check one out. Oh, I think you're gonna enjoy it, man. We're gonna have a good time, and we're gonna be like covering a lot of like sculpting things. Satlan says, hey mate, I have my friend you Discord to contact you for portfolio review. Hope you can give her some critiques. She really is struggling to find a job since I mean the Satlan, the portfolio review is open, so if she wants to submit, just tell her to do it. I think we still have like 1 or 2 like post or positions open for that thing, because we're gonna be closing them at 30. Remember, we are going to be closing them at 30. So the first thing I can do is I can go here to the Sisu, and the Sisu is very cool because it actually has a couple of like different presets that we might be able to use, like the gorilla, for instance. I think like the gorilla has nice proportions for the orangutan. We're only gonna be focusing today on the actual like head of the character, on the front part of the character, and I think the orangutan, or sorry, the gorilla here is a good option. And what I like about this Sisu spheres is that you have access to, or you can move them around, so you can like change some of the positions. So for instance, if I go to this one and I press R to rotate, we can rotate the whole body up like that. So that now I can again click on this one and rotate the full head like down, keep it a little bit straighter, right? Like a little bit closer to what we normally have for a bipedal creature. So yeah, something like that. It looks very funny. Let's move this. Let's move this down. Now he's sort of like flying on the. Then let's move this down. There we go. Boomble Bros, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. There we go. Again, we're not gonna do all the body today. That's a lot of hair and fur. I just want to focus on the face. Let's see. She sent you on her one-on-one on review. Don't know if it's paid. Check with her. Oh, okay, yeah. If she sent me a message, I'll have to check that after the stream. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna move this down so that we don't have any issues. And yeah, that seems about right here for the head. There we go. Okay. So let's see. You should even do an anime character bust as the forms are too tricky. Yeah, if you're doing anime characters, one of the best advices I can give you is to go here to the C tools, and there's this one, demo anime head. And yes, the proportions are tricky. They're definitely softer in every sense. So it's more about like the silhouette, and usually with anime stuff, you're gonna depend a little bit more on the shaders rather than the sculpt. The shaders are what really give you like a nice effect. Let's go adaptive skin, make adaptive skin. This is gonna be the skin for the gorilla. Let's just make sure that this is, I thought it was gonna do Dynamesh, but that's fine. I'm gonna use my select lasso here. I'm gonna select everything right here. We're only left with like a bust right there. Here we go. And we Dynamesh. Oh, well, delete hidden first, and then we Dynamesh. Probably can Dynamesh a little bit higher on resolution, just to have, you know, a couple more points. There we go. And yeah, Casey, good old sea spheres, right? Like these are really freaking good. So I really like this one right here. Look at this amazing animal here. So we're gonna be using this as our main sort of like source of inspiration. I got some of the others to check things around, but what I notice here is that the skull is this like elongated skull, right? So it has this like bump here on the back, and then it goes forward. This is like the forehead, and then from the forehead, roughly where the temporal bone is, we're gonna get this sort of stuff. And this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about, okay? When you're doing zoological like studies or zoological drawings, one of the things that you want to do is you want to start using or doing a little bit of what we call comparative anatomies. Yes, this is going to be for games. This is going to be for games. So I'm going to go and get a reference here from like a human skull. Okay, so I'm going to grab this one right here. Let's go to create that real quick. Here we go. So that's a human skull right there. And now I'm gonna look for an orangutan skull. Oh, so cool, man. Someone was asking me the other day, like, hey, if I want to do an exercise about like to learn about forms in Zbrush, what should I do? Skulls are so freaking good. Like so good. They're great options to learn. Look at that, guys. Just look at this. Wow. I love this. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So again, the fun thing about evolution, if you wish, or the fun thing about all of these things is that there's a lot of similarities, right? So we got our like eye socket right here for the character, and the eye socket's going to be right here. We have our zygomatic arc in this section right here. They have their zygomatic arc down here, right? Like the distance here, it's a lot bigger than what we have right there. This is their frontal bone. Our frontal bone is huge. You guys know why our frontal bone is so huge? Because the frontal part of the brain, which is where most of the rationale and thinking is, it's bigger, right? So our brain is bigger towards the front, while in animals, the brain is usually a little bit bigger on the more like primitive parts or the more like senses related parts, which are on the back. So that's why we have such a big, like massive forehead right there. So that's their bone right there. This would be the equivalent to their temporal bone. And look at that ridge right there. I didn't even knew they had that ridge. But that ridge right there, that's exactly what's giving the bump to the thing that we were seeing on the reference, okay? Then we have, of course, our like the place for the nose. They don't have a lot of cartilage on the nose. It's way flatter. And they have a massive mouth here for the element. Same for the jaw. Look at that jaw right there. Extremely big jaw. But again, pretty similar, right? They have two front feet like we do. Teeth, sorry. They have two front teeth like we do. They have their like canines, or in this case they're like extremely big. So this is what we again call comparative anatomy, where we look at our anatomy and then we look at the anatomy of whatever animal we're trying to replicate, and we try to find the similarities and understand how is it that they are again close to us, so that it's easier for us to create this sort of like volumes in our reference. Okay, Anthony, no, you're not late, man. We just started like 10 minutes ago, so there we go. Let's see. Kamesh says, I've worked for 1 year in the product advertising company, but I talked to the senior artists there, most of whom are advising me to not to continue in this field. One thing that I can tell you, man, is that in life, you are going to be making your own decisions. And some of the decisions are going to get good results. Some of them are going to get bad results. That's part of life, right? So always listen to what others are telling you, right? Like it's important to get their expertise and their opinion, their feedback. But at the end of the day, it's also sort of like important to follow what you think it's right. I know it sounds very corny, and actually let me go full screen here. I know it sounds very corny to say that you should follow your heart, and when I say this, it's not that you just follow your heart blindly. No. You need to take informed decisions, see how things are like playing out in the world. But the thing is, we only have one life, right? Like you only have one like shot at this. So if there's something that you feel that you really want to do and you have the time, the resources or whatever to pursue it, even if it fails, even if you fail, that's perfectly fine. It's okay to try. You do gotta be smart and you gotta be wise, I would say, to understand that if the decision that you make doesn't play out the way it should or the way you want it, well, let's pivot, let's move and think of a different strategy. Because that's where I see a lot of people struggling. They focus on something, and then that goal that they're pursuing, it's not really working out the way they want. And instead of reevaluating their strategy, they will try to just like, again, bull rush and power through it and make it work. And that's not how it works. I really like using the water analogy, as I've mentioned before, where life is more about this sort of like river, right? You just move with the flow, and if you see that something's not going well, you might need to take a wide turn like rivers do and then come back to the original goal that you had, and that's perfectly fine, rather than just like getting stuck and, I don't know, becoming a lake or something and not being able to move forward. As if you keep moving forward, if every single thing you do every single day gets you closer to the goal, then it doesn't matter if you're going to, what's the word? It doesn't matter if you're going to be taking, again, like long turns or taking a little bit longer to get there. You will get there and you will advance towards that goal, but you need to learn to adapt. That's the secret. My dad, I'm not sure if I've told this story before, but my dad, he does coaching for companies, right? He has developed a specific sort of like program. He calls it it's called the Quality Culture Program. So he goes into big companies. We have a lot of manufacturing companies here in Mexico, and he makes them change the way they see things. That's sort of like his deal. And he has a lot of like activities and strategies and tools that he uses to make sure that things, again, flow or move better in the company, increasing the revenue, increasing the safety, increasing teamwork, leadership, stuff like this. We call those soft skills, right? So he does that. And there's an analogy that he taught us since we were very, very little. Like, I remember being like 6 years old, and he was teaching this to us, to me and my brothers. And the analogy is that you gotta be like a palm tree, right? So if you plant a palm tree on the beach and a hurricane comes, the palm tree will bend. Yes, it will be aggressive. Yes, it will be bad for it, but it will survive because it can bend and twist and flow with the forces of nature, right? But if you plant an oak tree, right? Oaks are very sturdy, they're very strong, but they're not flexible. So if you plant an oak tree at the beach and then a huge hurricane comes, that oak tree is just gonna be ripped out of the earth, right? Because it doesn't have the flexibility. And he gave us that analogy since we were, again, very, very little, to my brothers and me. And it always stuck with me. It's like, yeah, you gotta, again, like, learn how to be flexible and adapt to the circumstances around you. We got AI last year that hit everyone in the industry. We had like the strikes and the layoffs this year, which again have hit everyone in this industry. So if you need to, again, like, adapt and move a little bit so that you can continue your road or your goals forward, that's fine. That's life, okay? So that would be, sorry for the long like stuff right there, guys, but that would be my advice for you, Kamesh. Like, right now you're there. Like, you need to make a decision on whether you just blindly listen to what everyone else is telling, or you try to find that sort of stuff. Let's see. Yeah, exactly, Anthony. You might take a job that's, hey, it might not be like the, the best thing that you want right now, but if it helps you get there eventually, just be patient. Yes, Anthony, we're probably going to be taking a look at the 3 rules of shape and details in just a second. Do you ever have PTM with students' parents? What's PTM, Solid Mango? I'm not sure what you mean by PTM. Okay, so now that we understand a little bit of the anatomy, let's start with like an écorché sort of like construction here. We're gonna have the eyes right there, and I'm using just the basic brushes, that we always use. And again, I like using this approach of like an écorché. I don't do a true écorché where we do every single muscle and every single bone, ridge and everything, just like a general shape, because it's easier to construct everything else from these basic shapes. And this is what we cover, right? Like, you guys have seen the courses. So in every one of the courses, I always mention primary forms, secondary forms, tertiary forms. We always do that. I'm sure these guys have ears, but they're like really, really hidden behind like the flaps. So the flaps for this character, they start roughly at this section. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mask this out where the flap is going to be. And then with my move brush, I'm just gonna move this down. it actually starts like a little bit higher up. So let's just move this up. Let's see. Don't follow your heart, follow Abe. No, no. And that's the thing, Satlan. That's the thing. Like, I say a lot of things, and hopefully the things that I'm saying are useful to you. But even there might be certain things that are not specifically useful for you. And the best thing you can do is not follow them, okay? I know this sounds very like weird, but everyone has their own, again, their own strategies, their own opinions, their own philosophies. I have mine, I share them with you. For some of you, they might work. You might be similar to me in the way you see the world or you see your work ethics and things like that. Awesome. Then we're gonna resonate. That's what we call resonation, right? Resonation? I think so. Like, we're gonna resonate and we're gonna have again, like a similar approach. But there might be things like, no, Abe is crazy. Like, he's saying like crazy stuff. Like, I would never do that thing that Abe is saying. And that's also perfectly fine. Okay, no one has the absolute truth in this like world. There's always a lot of gradients to everything, and every single situation is going to be a little bit different. Hello, GB. What's up, my friend? Yes, exactly. This is not a bear. This is a what's the word? An orangutan. We're gonna do an orangutan, but yes, you start with basic shapes, and then we go from there. I bet Abe walks through hurricanes like a bus. Unfortunately, where I live, we don't have hurricanes. Because I love rain. I love rainy season. But they don't get this far. I live... Mexico has two big mountain systems. Two big, like, mountain ranges. And I live literally after one of them. So you finish crossing that mountain system, and that's where the city is. So that mountain system pretty much kills every hurricane. We do get some heavy rains, but nothing extreme. One man, low budget. What's up, man? Welcome to the stream. I think the eyes are too far apart. And again, here's where I would look at, for instance, the distance that we have here on the ridge. That's too big of a distance, so let's fill it in there. If you use plasticity, ZBrush, Maya, Realism UV, and Substance Painter, is still accepted in the industry. MGX, yeah. I mean, ZBrush and Maya are industry standard. Realism UV is really good. I've tried it a couple of months ago. It has some cool things and cool tools. The only thing about Realism UV is that it's extra, right? And you can get, I would say, like 90% of the results inside of like the Maya basic UV like setup. So you don't really need Realism UV. If you can afford it and you can buy it, then awesome, but you don't really need it. And same thing goes for like plasticity, right? Like it's a good software, especially if you're gonna be doing a lot of like hard surface things, but it's like an extra software. Parent-teacher meetings. I've had a couple of them. I mean, I do when we're in the university. I might get them a little bit more often than in my individual things. But I had one not too long ago with a very young student, and his parent wanted to meet me to understand what this whole 3D thing was about, and I just like explained it to him. So yeah, I do those meetings every now and then as well. Let's make that a little bit thinner. Nice. Anthony says, little game. What is the keyboard combo for Damien Standard? I remember that reminds me, because when I first started teaching at universities, one of the things that the director of the university wanted me to do was to have exams, and I told him there's really no like exams that I can do. It's more like projects, right? Like I can show people projects and then I can like evaluate based on their execution of the project. It's like no, but the education like ministry, they want us to do exams so that we can have like evidence. And I had to devise exams like those, like, oh, okay, what's the shortcut for this? What is a bevel? And then I would give like multiple choice answers of what a bevel was. It was so stupid, so stupid. Thankfully they got it. They were like, yeah, no, this is art. You cannot evaluate art based on the on knowledge like that, because yeah, you might know the shortcuts and you might know what the tools are, but if you don't know how to use them, then it's completely stupid. Wildan says, Oh, Normal Roy says, I subscribed after the Next Dude video, and I love how you take Zbrush. Yeah, I left Next Dude, you guys know that, like last year, over a year ago now, to continue this adventure over here now. So welcome, my friend. I'm glad you're here. There's like a weird bump on this area, and that's like where the... There we go, that looks way better. Oh, let's see. Blender has new updates now. Do they update the brush for Sculpt? No, I have not tried it. It's Blender 3.4 or 3.3? No, 4.3, right? What? Yeah, it's 4.3. I've not tried it yet. I did use a little bit of Blender 4.2 this week for other things that I was doing, but I have not tried Blender 4.2, but not 4.3. Let's see. Yeah, if you want, but again, like, certifications are fine. Like, if you need a certification to work a specific place, awesome, do it. It doesn't really, like, tell you much about the person. It just tells you that they know the tools, right? It's not necessarily, like, it doesn't necessarily correlate to them knowing the artistic side of things. And at least for what we do here, or what I do here, art is the tricky thing to teach. Tools you can learn just from reading that documentation. Like, there's really no big thing there. Let's add the eyes. And I think I need to change the shape of the snout a little bit. Go. And I'm just adding the eyes because I want to start seeing the depth that they have. There we go. I really enjoyed this new combo for Zbrush. It's like to end your enemy. What combo, man? Oh, the Damien Standard one? Yeah. Now, here's what I do. Once I have like a general idea, I try to match, or I try to rotate this thing and match to the same, again, like depth. Can you see what's going wrong here? Like, the face is way too far forward, right? Like, this is way too far forward. And again, if we take a look at the characters, the eyes tend to be quite like sunken in. So we need to play a little bit with that. And I'm gonna do two things for that. It's a very common thing that I teach on the sculpting thing, on the sculpting course. When you want to exaggerate something, you can push or move that specific thing that you want to exaggerate, or you can push or move things that are around it. Both of them will give you like a similar result, okay? So if you want to exaggerate a form, you either add more volume to that particular form, or you add volume around that form. So you can see, for instance, on this guy right here, this like flaps, they really go out, right? This will like inflate quite a bit down here. So if I start adding that sort of like volume, even here on the eyes, a little bit of that volume, that's gonna push the eyes in. So it's a way to exaggerate the forms. There's two ways to make forms more prominent. You add more stuff to that form, or you remove things around it. The mouth is not as round. I'm gonna make it a little bit flatter. And now I'm thinking a little bit about like secondary forms, right? Like we're pushing forms a little bit. Let's go back to the reference that I really like. This one right here. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, again, the eyes, I feel like my eyes are a little bit too far out again, so I'm gonna push the eyes there. Let's push them in. that changes the whole like perception, right, that we have. Nose goes farther back. Yes, you're right. Nose definitely goes farther back. And now this one has like a very like long snout, so since this is the one, and again, I'll try to match the perspective as close as I can, and then just like push forms around to get the result. For instance, here on the side, I'm looking for like the curvature of the head. I really love that form that he has right there. It's pretty cool. Add a little bit more volume there. Of course, the hair plays like a really, really important role, right? Let's increase the resolution a little bit. Let's start adding some... Oh, the nose is even further back. Like way, way back. It's more like it. There we go. Let's see. Am I a generalist? Question. That's a great question. Yes, I think like if you had to like rank me somewhere, I would definitely be a generalist. And I always like to say I'm a generalist with focus on characters, right? Like that's my main area of expertise because I've studied a lot of anatomy and topology and all those things. So, but yeah, like I know a little bit of everything. The only thing I don't know about, like enough to again survive on a job or something, is BFX. Like if you tell me, hey, we're gonna hire you because we need you to help us with some BFX, no, like there's no way I can do it. I could get by in rigging, I could get by in animation even. Like I know the basics of things. So if I had to get like a junior animation position or like a junior rigging position, I might be able to do it because I've studied that as well. But not BFX. BFX is an area that I have really, really not studied at all. I've always been scared of it, to be honest. It intimidates me quite a bit. Okay, see how there's like again like a bump right there? This is pretty much like the nasolabial fold of the orangutan right there. I think I'm going a little bit too wide. I'm gonna push this in. There we go. Will you try to retopologize this in Maya or Blender? Neither. Topogon. You guys know I use Topogon for my retopology process. It's faster. Yes, I'll eventually have to retopologize because this is going to be for a game. Or it's not specifically for a game. It's going to be like a game quality. Yeah, you can... again, like definitions are pretty arbitrary. Like I've seen people who call themselves character artists and then I see their portfolios like, no, there's no way you're a character artist, man. But again, who like there's again no police or like international organism that says, oh yes, you have the title of this or that. It's can you do this, can you do that? That's pretty much the thing that you need to focus on. Like if you can do characters and you can do characters properly, then you're a character artist, and that's it. Again, what's going to happen if you call yourself a character artist and then you apply to a place where they don't think you're a character artist? Well, you're just not going to get the job, right? So there's a lot of nuances there. Now, one thing that I always tell you, and this is my reality here in Mexico we have very, very few studios. So that's why being a generalist is more valuable, I would say, because you can do a lot of things 3D related, and you're more valuable for a studio. If you're in a big city, again, I don't know, like Los Angeles, Vancouver, Washington, Seattle, like all of these places where there's like a more specialized studios, then in those ones it might be a little bit better to be a specialist, to really focus on something and be really, really freaking good at that particular something. There we go. What's the difference between a rig for animation and one for video games? The rig for animation is usually more advanced, You're gonna have access to other things like blend shapes. You can do blend shapes in games now as well, but you're gonna have like muscle system deformations. So they're usually heavier, they're more advanced, they got more controllers, and that allows, of course, the animators to really explore a wide range of motions for the characters, right? Games tend to be a little bit more optimized. So for instance, the rig that you might use to animate Mario in a Super Smash Brothers like a game, it's not the same rig that you're gonna be using to rig Mario for the Mario movie. Way different. Way different. How do you take care of prevent wrist pain? That's a great question. I have a friend who's a physical therapist. He's got like masters and everything. So he recommended a couple of things. First of all, never work for like extremely long periods of time. I always try to take a break every hour, every 2 hours, and just like this, just stop, move the hands around, go to the bathroom, get a glass of water, like things like that to just like keep your body moving. And there's a couple of exercises where you can do this, where you stretch your wrist like this, and then you stretch your wrist like this, and then you can do the same against the wall, and you sort of like push the wall, and then yeah, there's a couple of them that you can use. I know some people use the like a wrist support, which has like a metal band so that you don't move the wrist too much. With this like new tablet, I'm like raising the arm, so that helps, but I also have this like pads that I can rest the elbow on so that I don't get like elbow fatigue either. And yeah, it's just a matter of like try to move. Like what kills you or what hurts you the most is staying on the same position for long periods of time. So if you just like modify your position every now and then, that usually keeps blood flowing. It usually keeps your bones not as stiff, so that helps. How much do you get paid as a 3D artist in your first project? My first project? I'm trying to remember. The very first project, this was back in 2011. I was getting paid $2.5 per hour. Okay, so a day, like a full day of work, would be $5, $10, $20 per 8 hours of work. That was my daily rate back when I first started in 2011. And that was, again, like a very expected salary, unfortunately, here in Mexico. And then I kept growing, and what I would consider one of my first, like, big gigs, or big, like, what's the word? Like, things, after I, like, graduated, for instance, from Noman, I got paid $24 per hour at that point. So that was $24 per hour. That was, again, like, some freelance work that I was doing. And that was $24 per hour. Nowadays, that's roughly, or from what I've heard, especially from junior artists, that's roughly where things are still, unfortunately. I wish it was a little bit higher, but I've heard it's roughly like $25, $28, maybe $30 per hour for a junior artist. And of course, the more you grow and stuff like that, you can get to $45, $55, $80 per hour. So it depends a lot. However, I've mentioned this before, guys. I don't do a lot of like studio work. I have my own studio, and we work more in projects, right? Like we have a more like project-based like approach. So I have a little bit of a different optic here because I do a little bit more of the business side of things, where I need to, what's the word? I need to plan ahead how many artists we're going to be hiring, how big the project is going to be, how long it's going to take to us to deliver, and then we make a huge business plan. We deliver on that business plan, and it's not like a fixed amount of money that I get. It's more like a percentage base. So it's like, okay, this project's going to be this much, and I'm going to get, for instance, random number, 15% of the gross revenue, right? So, but that's, again, like it's not a very common approach to get into those kind of like positions. When I do freelance work, I will quote the person based on like an hour rate. Like I will definitely do an hour rate, and it depends on the complexity of the project. Sometimes I'll do $40 an hour, sometimes I'll do more, sometimes I'll do a little bit less, depending again on the client and the kind of stuff that they're asking for. $30 an hour is insane money for a junior. Yeah, that's the thing. Like that's the thing with globalization. Like if you make, for instance, here in Mexico, $30 an hour, that's what doctors with specialties are making. So you're on the other side already. But in the US, $30 per hour, especially if you live in a big city like again like LA or San Francisco, you're gonna be struggling because it's close to the sort of like the median, I think. If you was someone wanting urgent searching for a junior, do you think the question about why he didn't post a project during that moment? No, it's not really relevant. No. You're not gonna be looking too much for juniors, to be honest, Anthony. Usually, juniors are the ones going to be looking for a job. Like most unless it's like a completely new studio or something like that. HR, they're just gonna be looking for like the big guns, right? Like for mid-level artists, senior level artists, because unfortunately, and that's again like a paradigm shift that we need to do in the world as a whole. People are not giving enough opportunity to people who are just like starting. They want to play it safe, right? And that can be again complicated for everyone because there's not enough people out there. You'll go broke in LA on $30 an hour. Yeah, call me Caper. What's up, man? What is up? Yeah, $30 an hour. It could be tough, like very, very tough on LA, definitely. Let's see. After 25 years of Maya, I came to learn Zbrush just now, and the interface is giving me the aches. Yeah, the interface in Zbrush can be a little bit intimidating at first, but once you get over it, it flows. It just flows a little bit nicer. Okay, so we're in a good position here, I think, with forms. Now, I want to do a quick test here. Let me open something that I need. I would like a decimate. Oh, that's not that one. Zbrush UI is very good after you reconfigure. Yeah, once you start like doing your own sort of like personal like thing, it works. It works nicely. Search visible. Oh my god. There we go. Sci-Fi Monkey, that's right, guys. That was my original idea. Sci-Fi Monkey. There we go. Yeah, so this is gonna be roughly the direction. Like, this is not gonna be the final armor. I just want to get an idea of how this is gonna look with the whole thing, because he's got like an extra sort of like chin flap here. Just want to make sure that it sort of like fits like a spacesuit or something, which it kind of does, right? So, but yeah, that's one of the ideas that I have for this character. I want to do something fun. Kind of like Winton, right? Kind of like Winton, but an orangutan instead of a gorilla. Because gorillas get all the fame, right? Gorillas are usually they're like popular chimps. They're the A-list actors of the animal world. Let's give orangutans a chance as well. Planet of the Mass Effects Ape. I got cracked ZBrush here, but decided to learn it in the paid version to avoid headaches. Yeah, paid is It's expensive. I'm not gonna lie. Like $50 a month. That's like a full game. But it's part of the thing, right? I wish they had kept their lifetime like subscription model. I had my own, and it was really good, to be honest. I don't enjoy paying $50. The good thing is you can use that as a tax write-off, but still, it's quite a bit of money. Let's clean this up, and we're ready to go into the next stage, which is going to be a little bit more details on the face. Let's see. You know, when doing hard surface, I found that slicing the Dynamation polygroup it accordingly give. Yeah. It gives you. It can give you like a very nice clean one. Is the free version for Zbrush? It's good, but it's missing a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Alan Castillo, what's up, man? All good over here. All good over here. Yeah, it's a lot of money. The softwares that I really like how they're handling the subscription models are the ones that they do this thing called the pay to rent option, right? Where you pay your monthly subscription for a while, and then after that they just give you the license for free, and they give you 1 year of support. And then if you want more supports, they charge you again like $50 or $60 for like another full year of support. I find that to be way more, again, artist friendly. Way more manageable. Like 3D Code does that. Who else does that? I think Fibershop? I'm not sure if Fibershop does that. What's the difference between height and displacement map? It's pretty much the same thing, man. Pretty much the same thing. It's just a black and white map that like pushes things up and down. The maybe what we can say about the difference there is that the displacement map is usually calibrated to a subdivision mesh, and the height map is calibrated to just like a random tessellation effect. So yeah, Resum UV does it as well. Nice. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say this about like extra softwares, guys. One problem, I remember having this issue when I got one of my first jobs at the studio. Let's say Abraham, buy a license to Resum UV, right? Very good, like a license and very good software. And then I enter a studio. The studio is usually going to provide you with your equipment and your licenses because they buy like bulk licenses or special licenses for that studio. So if they don't have a Resum UV license, then the license that you got for your own personal use cannot be used there. Why? Because there are certain, again, like stipulations or things within the license that don't allow you to do that, okay? It's not the same to have a personal license than to have an enterprise license. Like right now, I have Maya Indie. If I get hired by like a big company, they want me to work on Maya, they might need to provide me with a license so that I can work with Maya Enterprise, which is the exact same thing. From a tools perspective, the exact same thing. But Maya Indie does not allow me to work on projects that make like a really big revenue. So you gotta be careful there, because there might be studios where you have all of your licenses at home and they won't allow you to use them in the studio. That's why I always teach the standard ones, right? Like Maya, Zbrush, all these things. Are you going to do hair on Zbrush like meshes or cars? Yeah, it's probably gonna be X-Gen, to be honest. It's a fairly easy X-Gen like a build right there. Okay, so let's do them in a standard here. Here's where we will have the, again, like the nasolabial fold and everything. So just want to make sure that the lip looks nice. The lower lip, as you can see, it's a little bit more inflated than the higher lip, or the lower lips. It's a little bit more inflated than the upper lip. How's the jaw? They don't have too much of a chin. Can you see that? So the chin is not gonna push forward as much. Are you going to do no? I like seeing where you buy the program, and if you want an upgrade, just pay a fee. Yeah, that also works. What makes Topogon faster than Blender or Maya? Oh, it just has like a couple, like, Blender does have a tool that does like 80% of the work, which is called ReTopoFlow. I've talked about that one before. But Topocon is just so fast. It's just like way faster. It renders the triangles faster, so you can work with high poly meshes. It has like very awesome tools like the circle tool, like the tubes tool, like the draw tool that allows you to just focus on the topology. And it has something that's very cool. Topocon doesn't make or doesn't build the quads until it finalizes the whole process. So if you're deleting and adding more points or removing points, edge loops or whatever, it automatically regenerates the mesh. In all of the other softwares, you need to delete the faces and then you rebuild whatever it is you want to rebuild. So that's the unfortunate thing about like again, like other softwares. Okay. So here, I need to duplicate this thing, and I'm gonna do a series measure, just so that we have cleaner topology. I don't think we're gonna be changing the silhouette too much anymore. Yeah, I agree, Casey. That's one of the areas that can be a little bit tricky, the see-through stuff. Do you have any video on YouTube where I can see how to assemble and send my 3D models from other softwares to Maya? I mean, we jump from softwares very frequently, Robner. Usually we do that with what's the word? Does not work? Error remeshing. Let's do a Dynamesh there. Hey, FBX, we normally export with FBX. What reference? I'm using this anatomy here, and I have a couple of others on the other screen. Oh yes, I'm okay. That's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. That's very common as well. And that's something that I learned not too long ago. We tend to be very hard with ourselves about time, right? We want everything to be done quickly. And if you need to work at a completely different job for a couple of years to get like a good foundation, like a good like economical safety net, and then you do the transition to games or to 3D, like absolutely fine. I don't see any problems or any like it's absolutely fine. Like the industry's not going anywhere. There's always going to be new indie studios coming out or new projects, new things coming out. So yeah, guys, don't feel pressured by that. Just take your time. Of course, do the work, right? Like that's one of the things that I would really encourage everyone to do is like do the work and just get closer and closer to your goal. It's like the 1% rule. Have you guys heard about that one? If you do 1% improvements every single day for a year, like the compounding gains or the compounding interests are so good. Like they're really big. And it applies to everything. Money saving, health, artistic growth, everything. Mental health. Atomic habits. Is that the word for it? I've never heard that specific term, but yeah, makes sense. What are the things that you need to learn to become a good 3D character artist? Anatomy is definitely one of them. Form, proportion, gesture. Balance, like the balance of forms, right? How to look at reference. Georgia says, thank you so much for the timing tip. Didn't know I needed to hear that. Yeah, guys, we get too focused on that. And you guys gotta remember, everyone has their own path, okay? You're doing fine. If every day you are doing something that is getting you closer to your goal, you learn a new skill, you study something, you practice something, then you're doing fine. We cannot compare, and I say this all the time, we cannot compare ourselves to someone else. You are fortunate in your own way. You have your own like advantages that someone else does not have. And that's why you cannot compare yourself to others. So everyone is going through this life and doing the best they can. But that's the thing. You gotta do the best you can, right? You cannot just wait for life to give you all the things that you're looking for. You need to do the work. Unfortunately, even if you do the work, sometimes it doesn't work out. That's what I was talking about earlier on the stream. Like, you need to be quite honest and quite like wise, and be like, okay, if this is not working right now, that's fine. I'll do something else. I'll just let life take me in a slightly different direction for now, and then I'll come back to this. And interestingly enough, you might find things that you were not expecting. I think that's the beauty of life, that you will encounter activities, people, things, opportunities that are going to completely change what you originally thought you were going to do. I mention this all the time. Like, I was not expecting to be doing this. Like, content creation, right? Teaching. Like, that was not my plan. I was at school when I was younger. That's not what I like. That was never specifically the plan that I had. But I love it so much. I enjoy it. It's so fun. It's been so rewarding in every sense. So, but I really like think it has to do with that thing that I mentioned earlier. I just took the smartest decisions that I could at every step of the way. And that's how I ended up here. Wolf Girl, hey, thank you for the bits. Let's see. I found getting better at something is like a compounding thing as well. The better you get, the more you like doing it and end up doing what... Yeah, exactly. Totally agree there. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the alpha to a round alpha. Something like alpha 6. Because the square alpha is really good for blocking, but now that I want to do things... Or now that I want things to start looking a little bit more organic, I definitely need to change this a little bit. There we go. I got offered a contract to start at 25 next week, but I haven't received the contract right now. I think I'm gonna get ghosted again, unfortunately. Oh, really, man? I mean, but if you signed the contract and everything... Sometimes that happens in productions. They'll tell you, like, oh, we need you right away. Please, like, fill this in, fill this out. And then, like, something happens, like, funds get delayed, creative changes. Like, yeah. Unfortunately, that's, again, like, the business side of things. And you kind of get used to it. One big advice that I can give you about that, guys, is first, try to always have like a couple of what's the word? Like a backup plan if possible. That always helps. And second, don't buy anything or don't make plans until you actually have the paycheck in your hands. That's a very important and a very common mistake I see. Like, people sign a contract and it's like, oh, I just got hired, I'm gonna get paid, I don't know, $40 an hour, so let me go out and buy the newest like Xbox, and I'm gonna buy this and I'm gonna buy that. It's like, no. Now let's quick save. I'll just quick save right there. So it's quite important that you do that, guy. Like, don't do that. Don't commit yourself. I have a very good rule of thumb about like savings and buying things. Actually, I have two rules of thumb. First of all, always save at least 10% of what you're making. So if you're gonna get paid $1,000, you're not gonna get paid $1,000. You're gonna get paid $900 because those $100 extra you save them for, again, like someone said right here, an emergency or things like that. And the other thing is, never buy something that you can't buy two of. It's a little bit of a weird rule of thumb, but let's say I want to buy whatever, for instance, a Nintendo Switch, right? I want to get a new Nintendo Switch. If I can't afford two of them, it's risky to buy one, because if anything happens to the one, you're gonna be without it, right? Like, you're gonna be lost. You're not gonna be able to recover it and buy another one. So it's just gonna be a very tough like a blow to your like financials. So that's that will be one of the advice. Like, make sure you always have a little bit of a backup. And that's pretty much like goes back to living within your means, right? Like, always ask yourself, do I really need this? Here in Mexico, and I don't know, maybe in your countries it happens as well, I don't know why people have such a like an ambition with cell phones. Like, people buy freaking the newest iPhone with the most like capabilities in like photographs and memory and things like that, and then they just use it to take pictures of their dogs. Like, do you really need the iPhone 15 Pro Max if you're just gonna be taking pictures of your dog? Probably not, right? Like, you can get like the basic version or whatever, and you're gonna have more money, and it's just gonna be better for you. Now, if you're a photographer, if you want to do that kind of stuff, you're gonna be doing a lot of productions, or you use it for your work. If it's a tool, sure, go for it. But exactly, Empress Tiramisu, that's an excellent analogy. It's like getting the best graphics card to play Minecraft. Like, do you need like the best freaking setup if you're just gonna be playing Minecraft? Probably not, right? It's a very interesting, like, a wrinkle right there. Yeah, and it happens all the time. I've been like guilty of that in games, like buying skins and things like that. It's not a financially sound thing to do, right? They don't really help you. They don't do absolutely anything. They just look pretty. And I'm not against, like, again, like doing that every now and then. If there's like a favorite character of yours or something like that, that's awesome. But be smart about it, guys. Be smart about it. Am I working on a monkey too? Yeah, we just started this one today. I have a plan, an idea for like a sci-fi monkey. This is a reused armor. It's not gonna be this one, but I just wanna get an idea of how he's gonna look, and that's roughly the plan we're going for. Yeah, and again, like, nothing wrong with using the bus. When I was in Los Angeles, I used that all the time. But you really gotta check your priorities. Like, really check what is gonna give you the best not profit, but what are you gonna be using the most? What's gonna help you the most to get towards those goals, right? Reusing assets. Yeah, I know. It's about picking your battles, that's right. How did you start your journey on YouTube? That's a really good question, Project09. That's a really, really good question. So, I started teaching. If you guys have been following my stuff for a while, I started teaching back in like 2018. So that was like, what, 6 years ago? Teaching online, I mean. I've been teaching like on schools and stuff like that since like 2013. But in 2018, a company approached me, a company called Victory 3D approached me to do some tutorials. And I did 3 tutorials for them. It was a male character, a female character, and a monster character. You know, full pipeline, retopology, Zbrush, all that stuff. And it was a really good experience. I really enjoyed it. It was a good gig. The payment was good, so I was happy. A couple of years later, I got approached by Nextdude, and I started working with them again, doing tutorials. And then a couple of years after that, roughly in 2020, when the pandemic hit, or a little bit after it, I think, they told me, hey, do you want to start doing like videos for YouTube? We'll pay for those as well. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And that's how I started. Eventually, I, of course, due to unforeseen circumstances, I left the team. And I just kept doing this on my own now. So it's, again, remember how I mentioned, I've been mentioning this a lot throughout this stream. Just go with the flow. Like, you get an opportunity and you decided whether you want to take it or not. I could have said no, and again, my life would have been different. Whether for good or for bad, I will never know. It's impossible to know, and it's also stupid to try to like question and find if that was like the right decision or not. Like, that's the decision I took at that time, and that's it. Are you making a 3D orangutan model? Yeah, I'm thinking an orangutan character. Change this shape here on the back. Hey, my final degree prize coming, and the project's to create a 1 million 3D animation short film in 3 months. Should I plan big, like nice quality? Go simple. Go simple. Totally go simple. There's some amazing 3D films that are super simple. Just go simple. Think about the simple character, think about the simple setting, think about the simple story, and just do it really nicely. Really, really nicely. Oh, by the way, guys, I wanted to let you guys know, I mentioned this a couple of streams ago, but I'm part of the Think Tank mentorship program now. So if you guys are studying at Think Tank and you're gonna have your like mentorship term in February, you can pick me as an instructor if you want, and we can work on your project together. I have 2 current like Think Tank students right now. We're having really good time doing some cool stuff. Okay. I think the head's going a little bit further back. There we go. There are 2 versions. Like Think Tank has an online version, and it has the on-campus version as well. How do you balance practice and projects, or do you use projects as practice? Yes, a little bit of both. Like sometimes a project will help with practice, and sometimes you just gotta like here's the thing. I'm gonna go like full screen here. There is one resource that we all have. Everyone. You have it, I have it, Bill Gates has it, everyone has it, and that's time. You need to be very smart about how you use your time. Scrolling for 2 hours on TikTok, it's not a good use of your time. Practicing 2 hours of Zbrush, if you want to be a Zbrush artist or a character artist, it's a good use of your time, right? We always like to say, oh, we don't have time. We do have time. If you actually sort of like micromanage your time and you see where you're like wasting time, you're gonna see that you do have time to do stuff. But you gotta be very honest with yourself and be like, hey, I'm wasting time here. Let me not do that, and let me start actually using that time to do things the right way, right? And at the end of the day, again, it's a decision. It's a decision that you make every day. I've been following this thought process for the last couple of months probably, and every time I'm gonna do something, I ask myself, is this thing that I'm gonna do getting me closer to my goals? Like, it's just a quick question, right? Like, you ask, is this thing gonna get me closer to my goals? And if it is, sure, do it. If it's not, then you ask yourself, can I afford to do it time-wise right now? Like, is it gonna really like take me out, or do I have any other important things to do? And if the answer is no, fine, do it. But if the answer is yes, that's gonna get you late, or you're gonna be procrastinating on something that you need to do, well, you might not want to do that, right? At the end of the day, you're still gonna have the decision, but I hope you make the right decision. So yeah, you gotta be very smart about how you use your time, because that's the most valuable resource that we have. Swap Daniel, no, we're not gonna do fur right now. We're gonna do fur with what's the word? We're probably gonna do fur with like Xgen or something like that. Now I'm playing here with the forms. And there's like, you guys see this like wrinkle that goes in this direction. It's a very nice wrinkle. And I want to make sure I capture it somehow. It's like a plane. And this is how you need to learn to look at the reference. No teasers yet, man. No teasers yet. Oh, you guys want a tip about like procrastination? I read this a couple of years ago, and it really changed my perception of it. Let me just finish this line right here. There we go. So, here we go. Procrastination is definitely the killer of creativity. But it comes from an interesting part in our brain where we're scared, right, of something. We're scared of failing, we're scared of not getting to the point where we want, we're scared of not performing or getting the result that we're looking for. That's it, that's procrastination. So the first thing you can do to beat procrastination is give yourself permission to fail, okay? It's very difficult and it's very tricky, but if you give yourself permission to fail, then taking on a challenge like a sculpt, an animation, a render, whatever it is, feels less intimidating, and that might help you get through that thing. Now, another thing that's very risky about procrastination is that you start doing something. Like, let's say I need to do this character right here, and instead of doing it, I'm like, no, I just want to play games. If you want to play games, go and play games, because I can assure you that you are going to be, again, 1 hour, 2 hours focused on playing games. But the thing is, of course, you're not going to be moving forward with the project that you need to do. Now, you might be on the other camp, and I'm not sure if this has happened to you guys, where you are procrastinating and then you go and play games and you feel guilty all the time you're playing games because you know you should be doing something else. That's the worst thing that you can do. And this is one of the advices that I read not so long ago. It's like, if you want to do something else rather than work, do that, but do that and actually enjoy it. I mean, if you're already gonna be like ditching work for a little while, at least like really commit and play a round of whatever it is your favorite game you want to play, read a book, go for a walk, like do whatever you need to do or you want to actually do, and then come back to your work, right? Of course, this only works for those of us who are working from home or freelancing or stuff like that, not for someone that's in the studio. But it's important that you sort of like give yourself permission to do it, and you're gonna find out very, very quickly when you're playing a game and actually enjoying it, or playing or reading a book and actually enjoying it, that you're gonna get the energy, or you're gonna get this sort of like inspiration or motivation to go back and actually do the work. So it's very, very important that first you give yourself permission to fail. It's important that you understand that failing is not bad. It will teach you things that will make you a better artist in the long run. And second, make sure that if you don't want to do it, okay, fine, don't do it, but don't feel guilty about it, and try to do something that's actually going to be useful for you. Again, 2 hours of TikTok's not really going to get you there, but if you, say, hey, I don't want to do this right now, but I'll watch a tutorial, or I'll read a book about art, or I'll go and gather some reference, hey, you're still doing something that's going to get you closer to that goal, right? So, those are my little 2 cents about procrastination. Go back here to our character. Give me just 1 second, guys. Just 1 second here. Says, hey, Abe, you advised me a month ago to leave my high-paying job and join this 9-month 3D program. Just want to say I'm so glad I listened to you. I'm already 10 times better at hard surface. There you go, man. Launch a lot of Photoshop applications, textures, brushes, and posts. Can't wait to start the character art course. Can't thank you enough. You're welcome, my friend. And again, as I tell you guys frequently, at the end of the day, even though I might have given you an advice, it was you who took the decision or who made that decision, right? So feel proud about that. I might have given you a little bit of an idea or a glimpse of what might happen, but it was you who decided to take that leap of faith. And it's very, very important that you understand that life is about that. It's about taking risks. I always try to encourage people to take, premeditated risks, right? Like, especially if you have a family to support or things like that, don't just go start doing like crazy stuff. But yeah, feel proud about that, man. And now your life is gonna like take a completely different course. That's the fun part about this whole thing. How can you gauge something sculpting versus polygon? Oh, if it's very organic, I try to sculpt. Like if the shapes are very complex and there's like a lot of curvatures and things like that, I'll probably just sculpt. If it has a lot of hard surface things and hard edges, I'll probably just model. And even if I model, I'll probably just jump into sculpting to add like more details and things like that. So it's a combination of everything. Kind of looks like a gorilla. I don't like that. I'm trying to see what it is that makes this. I mean, of course, all of these monkeys are gonna look a little bit similar that way, but trying to visualize what it is that's making this thing look like a gorilla. And I think it's the eyes. I think this is way too intense. This is why it works for people who are scared to make the jump to try to find an industry. Yeah, it works for everything, man. It works for everything. Again, we're really good at making excuses for ourselves. We're very good at that. Like our brain is a very powerful machine in that sense. And we make our excuses for ourselves very, very easily. Oh no, I can't do it because I don't have the connections or I don't have the skills. Who cares? Just give it a shot. And then during that like try and fail situation, you're gonna find out what things you really miss or you really need to improve on. But we're very good at giving ourselves excuses. We need to break that pattern. Are you ever gonna make a Blender tutorial, at least with Gobi or Gosi? But Naked Man! I've done plenty of Blender tutorials, man. I even have a course about the axe, the lava axe. That's Blender. A lot of the renders I do in Blender. Sometimes it's a little bit faster than Maya. As for taking this specific character into Blender, no, I'm not sure I would. There we go. That looks a little bit more like an ape, or like an orangutan. And I also feel this snout's a little bit too round. I don't know, it feels like the flaps should be going further forward. Yeah, I like that. For someone being in their final school year, I have definitely started with procrastination. Mainly that my brain starts running in circles of you can't do it or this is going to suck. Plus on top of the yeah, depression, I can do it. Yeah, exactly, Wolf Girl. That's exactly the mindset that we should have. That's exactly the mindset. Like, just understand that this is all a process. And as long as you're learning, that's why we have the motto, right? Like like our logo, always learning, always improving. That's the secret. That's the secret. Pablo says, hi, I'm new to this channel and I love your work. Sorry for my English. Greetings from Chile. Saludos hasta Chile, mi estimado. Bienvenido aquí al canal. También puedes preguntar en español, ¿eh? Probablemente voy a traducir tu pregunta, pero con gusto te respondo. Do you have a course on Topo Gun 3? Kenzie? Yes, I do, man. All of my courses you can find in leal3d.com. That's our site. And the one you're asking for is this one, Complete Guide to Retopology, Kenzie. That's the one that covers everything, not only about like the properties of retopology, but also about Topo Gun 3. So we do a lot of Topo Gun 3 right there. The newest course is the Zbrush for iPad one, and the Anatomy for 3D artists. Those are the ones that are, again, close to the channel. By the way, guys, if you got the course on the site and you can leave a review, that really helps. It really helps if you can leave a review there. Barca, what's up? Oli. Yeah, Talos, you didn't know? I'm from Mexico. I'm a Mexican, dude. I really should do like a Latin American like tour one day. I really want to visit Argentina, Peru, Chile, Brazil. Yeah, I mean, if you have feedbacks about the course, you're also free to send me a message on the channel. Someone detected that I had messed up a couple of the videos on the substance course. I fixed that already. There we go. This is looking nice, right? You guys like it so far? I think it's definitely looking like the beard is gonna help quite a bit. See, here's where, like, normally I don't do this. This is where a little bit of fiber mesh might actually help get an idea of how this thing is gonna look. I don't use fiber mesh a lot, to be honest, but here we can again. Now I can use my smooth brush. And if we do a quick BPR, remember those are gonna be rendered like hairs. This is gonna give me, you know, a little bit of an idea of how it would look. It's not gonna be perfect, but just help me so like you can get a general preview, let's say. Artimano, hola desde Ecuador. ¿Qué onda, mi estimado? Bienvenido. Whoa. He looks like my cousin. You know what? Let me go in here because I'm not really liking the lower eyelids right there. So, I'm gonna give him a little bit more traditional human lower eyelids, and then we got like the wrinkles here. I might even give him like tired eyes. I know this is going a little bit out of the reference, but since he's gonna be like a smart humanoid, like a orangutan, I feel it can work. Yeah, dude. I still find it like interesting that people think that I'm not like I don't speak Spanish. That's my main language. I speak Spanish. I speak English. I understand a little bit of German, a little bit of Italian. Well, German I understand quite a bit, because I did take some classes in high school. Well, a lot of classes, actually. A minitude? Not sure, man, because I'd rather spend the time working on the forms of the character, to be honest. There's a character in Marvel called Sasquatch. He's from Alpha Flight. He's I think it's like a Canadian like team, if I'm not mistaken. He reminds me quite a bit of this guy. Because this is supposed to be like well, like Bigfoot. Got quite a bit of similarities to this one. If you speak Spanish, you also speak 60% of Brazilian Portuguese. Yeah, probably. Like, I might be able to understand some of the stuff in Portuguese. No, I don't usually go live on Spanish, Artimano. Casi no hago español porque pues, la mayoría de mis estudiantes son de otras partes del mundo. Bobsy, saludos, Mexico. Something I'm experiencing is processing, seeing professional work or work from people who are far advanced, and I am not feeling like, oh, no, and here's the thing, Empress Tiramisu, you will never get to their level. But not in the wrong way, like, don't get me wrong, like, this is not meant to discourage you. Like, you need to understand that artists in general, we love to create. We love doing art. So every single year, every single like a couple of months, we will get better, ideally, and better and better and better. So for instance, if we look at one of the big ones, right? Like Rafael Grassetti. Like he's really freaking good right now. In 10 years, he's gonna be even better, right? So I will never be able to match Rafael Grassetti because he will continuously keep growing and growing and growing and growing. There is a point where you're going to get really close to his skill level, but then experience takes over, and he's going to have, like, however many years he has doing 3D more than you, right? So that's why you don't need to compare yourselves to them. What I like to do, if you want to compare yourselves to them, is try to find some of their old work, I'm talking about, like, really, really great artists, right? And ask yourself the question, like, if they did this when they had been doing 3D for 3 years, I'm going to compare it to my work after 3 years. And even then, it might give you a little bit of a better comparison, but even then, there's so many other factors that go into the comparisons that it's difficult. But it might give you a closer look, okay? So don't compare yourself to big artists as they are right now. Compare yourself to them if you want as they are when they were at your skill level. And you're probably going to see that you might be even better than some of them because back then the tools were not as good. So yeah, don't compare yourself to them that way. It's not gonna be good for anyone. No, Artimano, I don't have any courses in Spanish. I do offer mentorships, like private mentorships, like one-on-one sessions where we can go over any tools that you might be having questions about, and we can do those in Spanish, like no problem, right? But no, I don't have courses in Spanish. This thing is pretty much like merged into a single lab. Yeah, that's another thing. And I always use this curve right here, guys. Like, if everyone has seen like a bell curve, right? So this is a bell curve. It's used everywhere, and I think, I'm not a statistician, but I think there's this quote that says that everything can be fitted into a bell curve. So if you think about 3D artists, like skill level, this is the bell curve, right? Raffaele Grassetti is right here. And he's on the top 1% of like the best artists on the world. You got him, Vitaly Volgarov, a bunch of like different ones, right? Like there's like the best of the best right here. But I'm gonna give you something that's hopefully gonna give you guys a lot of hope. Most of the 3D world, or the 3D work in the world, is done here. Okay, like 80% of the work in like 3D related is in this section right here. This 20%, or let's say this 10%. This is the top of the top, right? Like, these are AAA studios. This is Pixar. This is Disney. Yes, they're gonna go for the top of the top. But even then, you don't need to be a 1% to go and work at Disney, okay? Or Pixar or Riot or whatever. As long as you're really good, like, look at this. Like, this will be like 90% or like 85%. You're gonna be like fine. And you also need to see this. Like, most of you guys will be here. Like, you guys, everyone else. Like, most of us will be here in the mean or the median or whatever it is called. But there's also a lot of people that are really, really, really freaking bad, unfortunately, right? Like, maybe they really struggle with technology. They really struggle with understanding some concepts. Well, I mean, again, this is how it is. But if you think about this, like, think about like professional soccer, right? Professional NFL, professional everything. There's always the 1%, the Michael Jordan, the Kobe. There's always the Messi, right? In football, in soccer. So, but in a football team, for instance, like in Argentina with Messi, yeah, Messi is the one, but you still got 10 other players, or 9 other players, I don't watch a lot of soccer, that are really, really freaking good. They're right here, right? They're on the top, but you're not going to remember their names as much because they're not Messi. So that's why you shouldn't compare yourself to that like 1%, because over here, there's a lot of talent as well, that it's very, very capable of doing a lot of things, and it's just different circumstances that make some people go all the way to the very top, okay? So yeah. Let's see. A comic caper says, I can attest that Abe's one-on-ones are awesome. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. By the way, I sent you a message. I'm not sure if we're going to have our session tomorrow. Let me know. Nowadays, everyone that have more tools, more advanced programs, and more internet to progress much faster. Yes, exactly. Like, and that has always been my goal. Like, when I'm teaching stuff, I want to save you guys all of the time that it took me to get to where I am. And so, like, you can look some of my stuff online. Like, some of my early Maya work and Zbrush work was really, really, really bad. So if I can save you all of those years that it took me to get there, that's what the courses and the videos are for. So I want to see you guys doing amazing things that inspire me as well. You might not believe this, but I get inspired by a lot of the stuff that you guys do. And that's how we grow as an industry, and as artists, and as humans. That's the secret. Arti, ya, no tengo cursos en español, mi estimado, pero tengo sesiones 1 a 1, donde nos juntamos y te ayudo en cosas que necesites. Me puedes mandar un mensaje en Discord y te explico un poquito más, y esas pueden ser en español. Ceci, what's up, Ceci? Welcome. Everyone remembers the first man to step on the moon, not many the second guy. That doesn't mean exactly, Alan. Exactly that. Exactly that. And that's one thing it's a very hard pill to swallow. It's one of those like realities that's just like, man. Same thing about like billionaires. Like, we all know the top 3 billionaires, right? Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, maybe like Bill Gates. Like, oh, those are the 3 richest guys in the world. What about the other, like, top 100? Like, do they not have enough money to do whatever they want? Of course they do. But we don't remember them. We don't know about them. And that doesn't mean that they don't have, like, a stupid amount of money, if money is one of the things that you care about. Same about famous people. Same about every single thing. Like, we as humans, we are very selective about who we remember, right? But that doesn't mean that there's not value in a lot of other things out there. Like, one thing I like to talk about is music, right? Like, we all have our favorite musicians or bands. And I'm sure we all have one band here and there that we really, really like. And we would consider them to be, like, extremely, extremely good. And they're, like, underground. They're unknown. Like, no one really knows about them. Like, one of my favorite artists. And let's see on the chat who knows about this guy. His name is A.A. Bundy. It's an American artist. And I love his stuff. I absolutely love his music and his stuff. And he's very unknown. Like, from a, again, famous perspective, he's very unknown. He's not like a freaking Taylor Swift or anything like that. But I find his music to be so freaking good. And that's where you guys need to understand. Like, you don't need to be on the top. If that's what you want, then go for it. It's gonna be a tricky tricky road, right? It's gonna be a very competitive road. Camilo, you got the update right there. that must have been freaky, man. Sorry. Let's see. Talking about music, what other musics do you like? I'm a huge fan of, like, metal music. So, you know, I like symphonic metal. That's very geeky, right? Like Dragon Force, Blind Guardian, Nightwish. It's very cool. I was listening to another one, a Spanish one, Sauron. It's a Spanish band from Spain. Mago de Oz, of course. So I really like that stuff. I really like Nightcore. I know it's a bit cringy there, but I really like this sort of, like, very speed up tempo, like variations of songs. I really like Mumford and Sons. What's that? Is that like folk rock, right? Yeah, folk rock. Yeah, so I really like folk rock. Have you guys listened to the new Linkin Park stuff? It's pretty tight, I would say. I really like it. There's this new song called "Cut the Bridge." Like, that's a banger, I think. So my favorite band of all time, like, if you ask me what's my favorite band, My Chemical Romance. Like, that's like my go-to band. My Chemical Romance defined my whole, like, high school experience. So to me, My Chemical Romance was the it's the band for me. Let's add one more level here, and we're gonna start working now on details. So now we're gonna keep talking about music though, but the skin folds are very interesting because it's kind of like hair pores or something. I'm gonna exaggerate some of the, like, the big wrinkles here. Yeah, my emo days. No, I don't like Ramstein as much. I find those to be a little bit too noisy, I guess that's the word. I had my what's the word? My days as an emo kid, and I listened to a lot of, like, screamo. So Alesana, From First to Last, Silverstein, all of these guys, I really like. Nowadays, not so much. Find them a little bit too obnoxious sometimes. Let's change the shape of the nose. Yeah, if you love My Chemical Romance, we're probably besties now. Still need to listen to the full new album. I think they released like 2 songs before. Yeah, it's the Emptiness Machine and Heavy as a Crown. Those are really good. The album is out now. I wish I could just, like, put it here, but we're gonna get like a copyright strike. Well, not a strike, but we'll get like a warning. It's like, oh, you cannot do that. You cannot play that kind of music. Which is weird, but anyway. Yeah, if you guys like Linkin Park, like, really give it a listen. It's a really interesting take. Of course, no one's gonna be able to replace Chester, but think they did a good job in creating something new that stays true to their style. Classically, some of the best. Yeah, when I really want to focus, I will put on like soundtracks from like movies, like Lord of the Rings soundtrack, Gladiator soundtrack. I haven't seen the new movie, by the way. Yeah, like soundtracks are really good. And yeah, my favorite. It's very like cliche, but one of my favorite like composers is Vivaldi. So sometimes I like listening to the seasons. I don't know what the name of this of that specific like orchestra or arrangement, but the one with the seasons. The one with the seasons, it's really fun. The summer movement is my favorite one. Again, very cliche. Did you see the Minecraft movie trailer? Yeah, it looks interesting. I'm not a huge Minecraft fan, to be honest. I never played it, so I'm not sure what to expect. But yeah. I can't do soundtracks. I replay the movie in my head as I'm listening. Or game soundtracks as well. Like I go and say, I don't know, like Legend of Zelda lo-fi music or the Xenoblade music. Like there's a bunch of really good like soundtracks out there. Or like this soundtrack that we're listening to right now. This is from the League of Legends. What's the word? Like creators save music. It's good for streaming. This one's very, very chill. Why am I making a monkey? I got a project in mind that I want to do. It's like a sci-fi character. So I wanted to do an orangutan. This is not going to be the armor. I'm just using it as a placeholder. But I needed to do an orangutan, so that's why we're doing it. Have you listened to The Warning, a band from Modern Reformer 3 Sisters? Yes, I've heard to them. Yeah, they're good. They're good. Haven't heard them like with a lot of attention, but I've seen them around. Yeah. I mean, if we're talking Mexican music, we cannot go wrong with Panda. That's another one of like the emo days. And this guy Pepe Madero, he's got some cool stuff nowadays as well. As a solo artist, really, really good things. Yeah, Zelda Lo-Fi is really good. Yeah, no, I think he's gonna go. He's gonna be a little bit closer to Winston, so he's gonna get like 4 legs, like not humanoid. Mana, nice. Yeah, no, that's fine. Spanish or like Mexican music, I'm trying to think. Oh well, who was he from? There's a lot of like very, very freaking good Latin American rock bands. I really like Enanitos Verdes, you know, Soda Stereo, the classical like Spanish rock from like the 80s and 90s. There's some really good stuff there. Winston's cousin, yeah, it could be Winston's cousin. What's the name? Let's think about a name for this character. What should we name him, guys? Let's put it to a vote. Who has a good idea for a name? Woodrow? Nah, that sounds weird. A3D Churchill is interesting. That Lou, having Lou. I like Lou. Churchill sounds nice as well. Maurice, Harambe. Nah. We're not gonna go memes on this guy. Poroko. I feel like I've heard that one before. Koroko. Dunstan. Changobot. It has to start with a K or an L. Louis is not bad, actually. I kind of like Louis. And it starts with an L, so... Because he has like a Louis face. I still feel like the snout is a little bit too long. I like Louis. Iba? Nah, Iba... Lincoln sounds good. Lincoln sounds good. Eva for Ava backward. Kind of like Lincoln. Louis is from the Book of the Jungle. Oh, there you go. Maurice. Yeah, I think Lincoln sounds good. It has Abe Lincoln sort of like attached to it somehow, so... Should we go Lincoln? I think we're gonna go Lincoln. Eventually, we're gonna need to open the mouth. Ape Lincoln. Oh, I love that. Ape Lincoln. That's a fun but serious name at the same time. I like that, Alan. Ape Lincoln. Let's carve in here a little bit more. Yeah, I think we got the name. Ape Lincoln. More volume here. One thing that I like to do when I'm adding volume is I like to do this like cross-hatching technique where the stroke of the brush follows the form that I want to have, right? That allows me to add form on the texture, pretty much. I haven't seen the last one from Planet of the Apes, but I've heard it's good. I think we're getting to a good position here. I'm still not sure how I'm gonna do those, like the texture that he has. But I really like the forms now. They look quite interesting, I think. I'm gonna push the chin. There's some like weird chins. Like this guy. Look at this guy right there with a huge chin right there. That one has like a very big snout. Hey, Hakya, thanks for the follow. It's the eyes. The eyes are very small. MGX Varad, thanks for the follow, man. Welcome to the channel. Kame says, finally, monkey. Oh, thank you, Casey. You signing off? Thanks for being here, man. Yeah, we're gonna jump into the details now. There's also gonna be some, like, hair in here. Enki, thanks for the follow, man. Okay, so now I'm going here with my smooth brush and I'm just cleaning up the surface, because something that happens very frequently is we get a lot of noise, right, on the brush strokes and things like that, which is fine. It can help us with this sort of like natural looking effect. But since we're gonna start adding a little bit more detail, it might be a good idea to start cleaning that up a little bit. The eyes, we definitely need to Get them back into position. There we go. That's gonna be tricky to retopologize there, the inside of the eyes. Very, very deep. How is Nomad for sculpting on the app? It's good. We did a live stream, Pedro, a couple of months ago when I broke my leg and I couldn't come up here to the studio. It's good. It's not bad. It actually has some really cool things, like the light system for rendering and presentation is good. I like the fact that it's a single purchase, so it's a really good alternative to Zbrush. However, Zbrush for iPad just came out a couple of weeks ago, and if you're gonna be doing this a little bit more sort of like professionally, I think it might be worth it to invest time into learning Zbrush rather than Nomad, because you're gonna be working on the Zbrush sort of like interface or environment more. Ave, I wanted to ask if I'm planning a model an HK416 assault rifle with every single component and overall gun with animation rig for portfolio. So is it good to have in portfolio? It's good. It's definitely gonna be time consuming. If you want to do everything and animate it and rig it and all that stuff, it's definitely gonna be time consuming. But it's a good option. I would probably encourage you to try to do a more unique rifle instead of the HK416. I'm not sure exactly which one is the HK416. But the thing is, most like realistic rifles are already modeled out there, so studios might not even like have someone model them. They're just gonna just gonna buy the assets or something, like an M16 or like a MP4, stuff like that. So, yeah. Do I prefer a tablet with or without screen? I'm a little bit biased because I just got like the Huion guys just sent me this the Canvas 2022. It's huge. Let me see if I can show it to you guys. So it's huge, right? Can you see that? Really, really freaking big. So, and before this I had a Huion 13, which was also really, really good. So I've been using like pen displays since 2020, so for the past 4 years. So I'm now quite used to pen displays. But before that, like 10 years before that, since 2011, which is when I started, I've been using I use like the traditional tablets, just like a no display. They're perfectly fine. Like if you're just starting, you don't need a pen display, but they're quite affordable nowadays. So if you want to get one, there's a lot of options as well. No, it doesn't really hurt. If it's very small and you're constantly like doing this, then yes. But this one, again, it's like perfectly big. So I don't need to be moving my necks much. Okay, so I'm guessing. Let's see if I can find some reference. Orangutan skin. Yeah, so look at this, guys. So if we take a look at the skin, there's actual hair on the skin itself. Can you see that? So it's kind of like a hairy bag, but there's also leathery. So we can start with like a leathery base, probably first, and then we can jump into adding that sort of like big pores for the rest of the elements. I just got hands on the Campus 24. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I like maybe next year, because I mean I just got this one, but I really want to try the Campus 24. Is it the 4K, Wolf Girl? Is it the 4K like resolution one? Yeah, it's like a table, man. Like this is definitely like a table. Oh, and they also sent me this one. I've been using it as well, which is the little like Huion key dial mini. So let me show you. Here, it's this one. So right now I have my tablet, and then there's the keyboard, and then myself, right? But I like to work with the tablet really close to me, and I need to move things around to the other side. So this one is very helpful because I just got like Control Alt, Control C, all that stuff in here. You can change like the size of the brush as well. So this one's another like cool little addition there. Bobsy says, or sorry, Smash32 first says, hey, if a portfolio has only characters but want to get more job options, would you suggest doing props? Yes, it's a good idea to have a little bit of everything if you want to get more chances. Because here's how it works. When people look at your portfolio, let's say I'm looking for someone who can do cars, right? If I look at your portfolio and I only see characters, it's difficult, but if I see characters and I see a tank that do this, like, oh, okay, he can also do like vehicles or props. So again, you fall more into this like generalist role, and that could be a way to open a couple more opportunities for yourself as well. Now, what I like to do, which is a little bit of a cheat, right? But if you're doing characters and the characters have props like a gun or again like a little vehicle car, like a car bomb or something, I don't know. Like if you try to incorporate things into your characters, that's another good way to showcase that you can do more than just characters. Let's decrease the intensity. I'm gonna start adding some like striations here on the snout. These are micro details already, so I'm even gonna like smooth them out, because we can even add some of that later on in texturing. Now, I'm not sure if I have like leather alphas. I got the basic ones. I mean, the basic ones should be more than enough. Let's grab standard brush. There we go. C sub and a low intensity. Maybe a little bit more intensity. See that? Now this is the secret, guys. I always mention this. If you have good forms, right? If your primary forms, secondary forms, and all of these forms are good, then when you add this, it's gonna look good. It's like the sprinkles on a cake, right? If your cake is good, then all of this works. But if you have bad forms, if you have bad details, if you have bad secondary shapes and stuff like that, then this won't work. It will just look very messy. Because the secret of alphas and everything we do, like looking nice, is the fact that they have good underlying forms to be projected into. Okay. Breaks up the surface. It allows you to get some nice details. So, how's it going? Now I'm confused. Tertiary shapes and details, what is the difference? So, that's a great question. Primary forms is the silhouette and the overall shapes. Secondary forms are like some of the bones, muscles, and things like that. Tertiary forms would be like these big wrinkles right here. And then micro details are all of these elements that I'm adding now. Right? They don't change the silhouette. They don't change the shapes of anything. They just add more detail to the whole thing. Now, one important thing about this one is we kind of want them to follow the shapes, right, of the character. Now, this is too intense right now. I'm gonna smooth them out. Very important not to, what's the word? To try to keep the size of the wrinkles or of this like leathery skin consistent as well. It's gonna be a good sort of like rule of thumb. Make sure to cover all of the space. I know we need to sculpt the ear a little bit. Problem is I don't freaking see the ear. I'm not even like, I'm sure they have ears, that they must be like quite hidden. What's the idea for this one? Like the story for this one right here? El Carpintero, thank you, my friend, thank you. So I'm not sure. Originally I thought it was gonna be standalone sort of like story, but now I'm kind of thinking that this could be Duncan's like partner, you know, like on the sci-fi adventures of the story. Like this could be Duncan's assistant or buddy. Duncan is the superhero that we did for the anatomy course. He would like the Robin to the Batman, you know. But I'm not sure. There we go. Now I'm gonna grab smooth brush And I'm gonna bring the intensity down, and very, very softly, I'm just gonna like soften up all of the details just a little bit, because we're gonna have more details later on. Just wanna like smooth things a little bit. And now that I have those, we can go back to them in the standard, for instance, and start like this is where it really depends on the project, like how intense or how much like detail you're gonna be adding. But there's some projects that you're gonna have to go in. Like right now we're only 3 million polygons. That's not much. Can definitely push this one more subdivision level. But I don't like to push subdivision levels until I have like used all of the available information that I have. I'm even gonna go clay build up here, for instance. This is where we add all of this fine detail. It really depends, like the level of detail that we're gonna be adding really depends on our intention later on. Like, what are we gonna be baking this to? Is it gonna be UDIMs? Is it gonna be what's the word? Like a 4K map for all the characters? So it's a lot of things, right? Like a lot of like decisions that we need to make in regards to that. If it's gonna be for a game and all of this is gonna be baked down, then you don't need too much detail because you're gonna lose a lot of that stuff. But if you're gonna be using this for like a cinematic or something like that, then yeah, you definitely can start like adding a couple more wrinkles and details. How can I download Zbrush? I mean, from the official site, of course. You gotta pay for it, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to see that. But yeah, there's a trial version. Zbrush for iPad has a free version as well, El Capitan. But yeah, what pen display do you have? I currently am using the Huion Canvas 22. Huion Canvas 22. Previously, I was using the Huion Canvas 13 HD or 13 2.5K. And previous to that, I was using the Huion Canvas 20 or Huion Canvas 16 from like 2021. I'm a huge Huion follower because they got like really good prices, and the quality is good. So. Yeah, much cheaper than Wacom. Yeah. Wacom used to be really, really good back in the day. Nowadays, I feel like they haven't innovated as much, I guess. I'm not sure. So, as you can see right here, I'm adding... This will be like tertiary shapes that I'm adding. Like extra little like details that you cannot really get with alphas. Okay, now, here's what I'm going to do, guys. Look at this. I'm going to Control D to give this one more subdivision level. And I'm going to go back to standard brush. Use the same sort of like alpha that I have there, but I'm gonna change this to spray. And what this will do is it will break the whole surface. Can you see that? It's just gonna give me like very, very nice, fine like grain detail, grain noise. This is not something that you would see on like a 3D print or like a bake. A bake might hold it, but this is just noise, like skin noise, pretty much. And this micro detail is gonna push the realism of this thing quite a bit. Again, it's thanks to the fact that we already have clean forms. Pablo Rast, what's up, man? Thank you for the follow. I see you right now, meshing with Doodle and 3D Deer. Wow, we got a lot of follows right now. Thank you guys and welcome. You can upload your portfolio on the portfolio review section. I'm not sure if we still got slots available, La Tiesa. This is on our Discord channel. We close the submissions at 30 because otherwise I'm not able to give enough like attention to everyone. So jump to the Discord and check if there's like still a slot available. Now here, for instance, on the lips, I'm gonna do some manual work. Oh yeah, that's one of the old courses, man. I'm probably gonna be doing a course soon about Marmoset 5. So it got some nice new tools available as well. But yeah, you're probably doing the Marmoset 4 course that I did for Nextut. isn't too tiny to when you want to put in Substance Painter. Yeah, it will work. Like Substance Painter will accept it. If I bake all of this into a 2K map, then you're not gonna see anything, to be honest. It's gonna be pretty much lost to the, what's the word, to the bake process. But if we do UDEMs, this will, like, it could be noticed. So that's why it depends, like, what this project is going to be for. And I'm still not sure what I'm gonna be doing with this one. We might do UDEMs later. There I'm adding like a ridge to the lips. See how nice that looks? This is very common in humans. I'm not seeing it too much there, but it really helps it sell the fact that there's a change in texture, right? From the lips to the character. I might even add it on the top one, to be honest. The top one is it's a way thinner lip. It might not be a bad idea to just add that little ridge right there. This is something that I learned when I was studying for medicine. The skin, or there's a specific branch of medicine that studies tissues, the types of tissues, and the skin, right, is a specific type of tissue called dermis. Dermis? I'm pretty sure that is. Like we have the epidermis and dermis. Anyway, when it goes towards the lips, the tissue, the type of tissue changes. It changes into a different type of like cell structure and cell like properties. And that's why we have this little like border right here. I pay more attention for that because I lost my skin pores because too tiny on my model. Yes, it depends again on the bakes. Like if I bake all of this into a 1K map, it's gone. Like I'm not gonna be able to see all of this detail. So this one's definitely gonna need to be like baked into like a 4K map for the full face, or I'm gonna have to do UDEMs or something like that. So otherwise, all of this like very fine detail that I'm sculpting, it's gonna be gone. You need to take Zbrush? Yeah, you can check the courses, man. I got a couple of courses about Zbrush there on the site. I think if you type in here on Discord exclamation mark and then courses, you get the link. Yeah, Zbrush is industry standard for a reason. It's really freaking good. Juan Urrea, thank you. The problem is the price. Oh man, not much I can say about that. I think, and you can ask anyone here in the chat, I think the courses are like fairly priced. You mean the price for Zbrush? And yeah, I agree. Let's patch up the areas that we destroyed. It's a little bit pricey, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little bit pricey. Zbrush. But it's worth it, man. Like if you're a student, Maxon does have this option where you can buy like a full year of Zbrush for like $40 or something like that. I think. I don't remember exactly the amount, but it's like a really good price. Okay, now let's do the pores. I'm gonna go standard again. I'm gonna use this bumpy skin. Of course, we're gonna have to make this a Ciath. There we go. Look at that, guys. That's really doing what I want. Right? Might be a little bit too intense though. Let's go back a little bit. gonna add the sort of like bumpy texture. I don't want to say what part this reminds me of. You guys are probably thinking about it as well. One important thing is the elements or the skin, they will fade out, okay? We'll have like bigger pores in certain areas, and then they start getting smaller and smaller. So where I see hair, I'm gonna add a little bit of the spores. There's no hair, we're not gonna have this sort of detail. $70 is for all the apps for the students, right? I mean, still $70 for a full year of all of the apps. That's freaking amazing. Martin David says, hi, what you doing? How's your health now? You mean about the leg? The leg is fine, man. Yeah, it's been fine for a couple of weeks now. A couple of months, actually. Yeah, all good, man, all good. Oh, you mean the flu, right? I got the flu, or I'm not sure if it was the flu, or I don't even know what it was last week. Yeah, it's good. It's better, man. It's better. It's the season, right? It's the season of all of this, like, respiratory diseases. Yeah, so this is looking quite nice, if I may say so myself, I think. Does the Wacom Cintiq Pro 27 justify the price? I'm not sure how much is it right now. Let's take a look. Wacom Cintiq 27. Oh my god! No, man, no. No, dude, no. This is, no, wow. This is in Mexican pesos, but this is like $4,000 or almost $5,000. Oh god. No, I don't think it's worth it, man. I don't think it's worth it. 4.5 with the stand? Yeah, no. Like, again, like the Huion one, it's pretty much the exact same thing, and it's gonna be like way cheaper. How much is it? Ah. Yeah, it's half the price, right? It's 4K HD as well. I'm not sure if it has the 120 like hertz on the thing, on like the frame rate or whatever. But yeah, no, man, you don't need this. I'd rather buy a monitor if I want to play games and stuff like that. I'd rather buy. I don't think you need 120 like refresh rate on like on a sculpting monitor. It's good if you can get it, but I don't think it's really needed. You better clean your room for that price, right? Yeah. I did a Warhammer stream last week, man. I mean, not a piece, but we were doing the like a gun. We did like a bolter. I think it was called a bolter or something like that. Yeah, we've done one Warhammer. Yeah, one thing I want you guys to notice about this like project that we're doing right now is how long have we been doing this for? 2 hours, right? It's 2 hours of just the face. This is one of the reasons why sometimes recording the premium courses can be a little bit tricky, because I need to work way faster than I normally do. Otherwise, people get bored. But in reality, things take time. I mentioned this plenty of times before. Like, things take time in production. So again, going back to some of the motivation speaking we were doing earlier, gotta be patient, right? Is this for a BB game? Yes, we're gonna be eventually going or preparing this for like games. So we're gonna do topology and things like that. I'm not sure if I'm gonna record or live stream the whole process. Today I just wanted to focus on the zoological like sculpting like part of the whole thing. But this is gonna be like a game quality. We might do Udums though. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be doing Udums, because otherwise all of this like very cool detail that we've just sculpted, it's not gonna be visible. Latiesa says, I bought your AAA weapon scores. Very good. Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for the support. I'm glad you liked it. That one's a good one because it covers the full pipeline. There we go. So does this definitely looks like a orangutan, or does this look like a like a gorilla? I think we definitely hit the orangutan thing, right? I played Zoo Planet and it's awesome, but you're getting on more detail. Yeah, we're like, again, that's the thing with video games. You sometimes sculpt more detail than what you're actually going to get. Errol says, hey Ave, what course of yours would you recommend for someone like me who is an intermediate character artist in Zbrush and would like to complete the design with UVs and texturing? I'm probably gonna be doing something like that soon, where we cover the full range of things, because I don't have one particular course right now that covers the full process. There's one I did for Nextut. Unfortunately, I don't get any revenue from that anymore. It's the Thyrus course, right? Like the advanced character texturing course. I think I did a great job on that one, again, if I may say so myself. So I'm not gonna say, hey, don't buy it, because if you buy it, you're gonna get like really good like information from it, to be honest. It's just that, unfortunately, due to how things turn out, I don't get a single cent from that one. But if you see it, especially now that Black Friday is coming, if you see it with like a nice discount on the Udemy, that one might help you quite a bit. That one, we did the full process, retopology. Well, that's the second part of the process. We got the sculpting part first on one video or on one series, and then we do the whole like texturing process. I actually feel like I got monsters to make projects, but like I say, don't need the actors to do 3D. Yeah, no, you don't need like super like advanced stuff. My CPU it's a Ryzen 7 5800X. Ryzen 7 5800X from a couple of years ago, and still does like a great job. Let's look for orangutan ears, because we're missing them. Orangutan ears. There you go. They do have ears. It's just... oh, it's like a freaking normal ear. Wow, that's very creepy. Wow. You guys know this? Pretty much like a freaking normal ear. I mean, this one's a little bit more weird, but yeah, let's do that one. Copy image. Because it's got a more interesting shape. ¿Algún consejo para encontrar puedes darme? Siento que sonar muy compte. Latiesa, what country are you from? Latiesa, are you here in Mexico, or are you Peru, Chile, Brazil? Because it really depends. Geography does play an important role in the like job opportunities. Dude, if you're in CDMX, you're probably in like one of the best places here in Mexico to find some stuff. Unfortunately, here in Mexico, we don't have a lot of like game development things, but there's plenty of like advertisement stuff and commercial stuff. There might be even some like film stuff. Netflix, and there's a lot of producers that have been trying like things around. I'm not too familiar with studios in ZMX, but just look around, man. Look in LinkedIn, look in Glassdoor, and you don't want to look for job opportunities there. You just want to look for the contact information about the studio. Then you, if you can, call them, like, hey, this is me, this is my name, I'm looking for any opportunities, are there any available? And they'll tell you. I don't know what it is with people nowadays that they're very scared of like like dialing, and everyone wants to do things by email. It's way easier if you just call. Like, you're gonna get a way faster answer, because they might just say, oh no, we're not hiring, thank you, or just check our site if there's any opening. But at least you get like a quick answer rather than sending an email and then waiting freaking 10 days before you get an answer, or not even getting an answer. So, yeah. You graduated from Ibero. Yeah, I mean, if you have submitted your portfolio to portfolio review, you might want to do that as well. I can give you some pointers. We're going to have portfolio review next week, by the way, guys. Submissions, I think, are now closed. David, I'm not sure if you're still here. If you are, let me know if we've closed submissions already, because we were already hitting the limit for the amount of like portfolios. But then, if not, you can do it next month. Next month we got Christmas. I love Christmas. Let's call weather. Well, I mean, I'm talking about smaller size studios, indie studios. For bigger studios, then yeah, you're probably gonna have to go through the recruitment like a process. I just checked. It's close. Okay, we're close now. Okay, yeah. So La Tiesa, the portfolio review is closed now, but we're gonna have one more next month. So just stay tuned. Make sure to join the Discord so that you get the notification when we open the next one. There we go. Let's take a look at how it would look. Yeah. Yeah, like, again, this is like a human armor, so it looks a little bit weird right now because it looks way too humanoid. But you can imagine how this would change with the whole thing on the other thing. No. Indie studios do not mean that they're from India. There we go. I'm not sure what else we need to do on this one. Should we add like scars or things like that? Like a battle wound? What do you guys think? Let's try that. Let's try adding, like, let's break symmetry a little bit here. So a very common thing is like an eye scar or something like that. Let's start like here. I usually like mouth scars. They look quite nice. Character design. And I'm doing this on a layer here instead of Zbrush, so that we don't have to commit to it, right? If we don't want it, or if it looks a little bit weird, we can always change it. The Lincoln ape got a shot in the mouth. Yeah. So scars are interesting because there's different types of scars, and there's one type of scar that's called a keloid scar, which is when you get like a lot of like connective tissue that forms on top of it, and you get it sort of like bulges out a little bit, which is what I'm doing here. And then yeah, I think an eye scar might be good, but for the eye scar we're gonna do a different type of scar. This is going to be like a cut scar, rather. Go. Eyelids usually don't get as damaged. I'm gonna keep the eyelid a little bit cleaner, like the very border of the eyelid. And then again, with like the mini standard, we can clean up the border a little bit. What did you do when you were a student? You were struggling with the face proportions. Practice, man. Do a lot of practice. And remember, guys, one of the best things you can do, take a picture of whatever you're doing. Like, so take a screen cap. Move it into, Move it into Photoshop. And compare. Like, draw on top of it and try to compare where the proportions are off. Like learning how to train your eye to see those kind of things is very, very, very important. Do another like cut right here. $12 million. What is that? 12 million polygons, and I'm afraid to get past 5 millions. Yeah. Yeah. It depends again on your computer. I do have 64 gigabytes of RAM on my PC, so that does allow me to comfortably move up in the resolution. But when I had like 16 gigs, yeah, usually this was like the limit. Right now I could push it one more subdivision level and it should be fine, but it really depends. Let's see. Errol says, love the way you teach, man. Thank you. You are welcome, man. RAM makes the biggest impact with Zbrush. When I went from 32 to 64, I can now run 200 million. Yeah, exactly. If you call and they say they're hiring, ask them if they will just do an informational interview so you can possibly get in and see what it's like on the other. Yeah, that's a great advice, Comic Keeper. And that's one of the things, guys, that unfortunately not a lot of schools teach. It's like not common. It's not as it's not common knowledge. It's just like not common practice. But there's a huge like area of the industry that's more about human relationships. Again, who you know, how you present yourself, how you work in a teamwork environment, how you communicate, and that sort of things have nothing to do with your skills in ZBrush, Maya, Photoshop, or whatever it is. So you need to learn how to develop those skills as well. Otherwise it's a little bit difficult. Okay. So practice that. Like public speaking, it's good. Again, communication skills, just like interview skills, like those sort of things are good ways to get your foot on the door. Because if they see that you're someone that's again, someone that communicates nicely, someone that like presents himself in a nice way, that can give you points. I'm gonna add like an X cut. I don't know. I know it feels like a little bit like anime-ish, but I feel like it could fit nicely here with the character. Is to break something. A little bit there. There we go. Now, different type of tissues heal in different ways. How would you like a lion claw? Yeah, I like the lion claw. Let's do like 3 cuts right here, right? Do that right there. And the cool thing is, all of this is being stored in a layer right now. So if we don't like something, we can very, very easily like take it out. Yeah, I like that actually. Looks interesting. And eventually with color, that will be like a pinkish color probably, following the color of the skin. Yeah, not bad. Let's see. Hello, can you say hello for my friend Josimar Fox Changer from Brazil? Of course. Hi, how are you, Josimar? How are you, my friend? Welcome. Feel free to chat as well, man. Battle Monkey. Yeah, he's definitely has gone through some stuff. Yeah, RAM is relatively cheap nowadays, so shouldn't be a Shouldn't be too much of an issue to have it. How many polygons is that right now? We are at 12 million polygons for this head right now. 12 million polygons. Now let's do something fun here. Subtool. And thing. This will be like the cushiony thing that you have before the actual hard surface helmet. Yeah, I'm gonna show you guys a trick. It's a very cool trick. So if I want to make this like cushions, right, like different segments, I can use this brush called the slice brush, the slice script brush. I'm gonna go top view here, and I can slice this into multiple like segments. See that? Then I do mirror, mirror, and weld. Now see how we have like all of these multiple segments right there. And what we can do is we can go to geometry and use this option inside of edge loop called group loops. And what group loops do is they create an edge loop around the element, as you can see right there. And then I can go to C modeler and grab Q mesh, polygroup all, just give this a little bit more of a bump, and then just repeat the same effect on all of the polygroups. And now when I control D, we're gonna get this sort of like sci-fi-ish effect thing going on. Not bad, right? We can smooth it out or inflate it. Can do stuff. After you finish your high detail, high poly, do you bake into low poly? Yes, we will do retopo and then bake into low poly. Obviously, he's Duncan's buddy. Yeah, that would be cool, right? I think that would be a nice one. Give him a robotic eye. Interesting, interesting. Could be a robotic eye, or what about like a cyborg thing? Know what I mean? Like this whole thing, like a metal bit. I was thinking about like an eye patch or something like that, but yeah, like a robotic bit there might not be a bad idea. We'll see, we'll see. Do I not use or like a visor? Yeah, like you know, like the Dragon Ball Z thingies. Like that could work as well. No, I do use Blender, man. I do use Blender. Scouter. Yeah, something like that. I'm not sure how he would have it there though. But I like the idea of a scouter. Lucas, yeah, we're doing this. I'm not sure we're gonna be doing the fur today. We're focusing on the sculpt. It's a pen cube. I mean, it's sci-fi, so we can say that it just like it's gravitating in front of him or something. Like the cool thing about science fiction is you can justify a lot of things. It'll be like an interesting thing there on the front of his eye or something. I don't know. We'll see, we'll see. Oh, look at this, guys. Oh, we still have the little like beer right there, but no, look at this. This was the beginning of today's session, and now we're here. Quite a big change, right? We changed proportions, we changed a lot of stuff. That's the sci-fi armor A little bit of a placeholder right there. Let me hide. Oh my god, that might crash ZBrush. That might crash ZBrush. Why do people always assume that ZBrush users never use Blender? No, it's just there. I don't know why this is, but there's a lot of division. Like people are very loyalists. I think that's the word. People tend to be quite loyalist to specific software, and they think that their specific software is just better than everyone else's. I've always said that I'm a software agnostic artist, so I don't care what software you use. I just care about the result. If you need to use just one software to get a nice result, cool. If you need to use like 10 softwares to get a cool result, cool. Like, again, doesn't really matter. What matters is that you get a cool result at the end. There we go. So that way we can appreciate the character a little bit better. So it gives us a nicer idea of how the character would look. Can I send you a link that I want to do on router CNC? I'm not sure links are allowed here on the chat or by the auto mode thing, but you can share that on Discord if you want. Anyway, so yeah, guys, I think we're gonna be stopping the stream here. I think we managed to get to a really good place. I mean, that hair looks like absolute crap, but yeah, this was the idea that I had in mind. I wanted to do like this sort of like sci-fi-ish character. Of course, we're reusing some of the armors from other projects. Eventually, we're gonna design his own armor. Probably gonna do a live stream about that, like hard surface sculpting here inside the ZBrush. But yeah, this is pretty much it. How you extrude polygroup with the same height when you use like a C modeler and you do an action, any action. If you just click, if you just tap on one element, you're going to get the exact same result. Like with bevel or insert, like things like that, it just works exactly the same way. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for this stream. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a great time. We had a lot of like very cool stuff at the beginning, right? We were talking about some motivational things and how to keep yourself on track with your goals. Don't forget that. And again, take it one day at a time. Always learning, always improving, as we like to say. Says right here, before you end the stream, can you do a bit about polygon budgeting for a video game? Yes, we can definitely do that. We've talked about it before, but we can definitely talk about that a little bit more. So that's it, my friends. Thank you very much. I wish you have, or I hope you have, a great weekend. Make sure to practice if you can. Make sure to also get some rest, get some stress out of your system. And yeah, I'll be seeing you back on the Monday with more stuff. This rerun will be available then. So if you want to watch some of the parts that you missed, make sure to check back. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, follow here on YouTube or on Twitch if you're on Twitch. That really helps the channel. And of course, if you want to support this project, this like content and all of this, and learn about the 3D world, you can check our 3D courses on Leal3D.com. That's it, my friends. Have a great day, and I'll see you back on the next one. Bye-bye.